Hello students. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss an important topic, and that is about the human urinary system, or we can say it as human excretory system. All right. So as you can see on your screen, the human urinary system is being represented in the human male skin. All right. And mind me that the location of the urinary system or the excretory system is similar in that of the male also, as well as in case of the female body also. All right, if we just write down the components, that what are the components of the human urinary system, then human urinary system basically consists of four different components. All right, so human urinary system consists of a pair of kidneys. We will also see individually that where are these organs and specific blood vessels located in the urinary system. So it consists of a pair of kidney, then a pair of ureter, then there is a urinary bladder, all right, and a urethra. So these are the main compositions of the human urinary system, in which this kidney, which are considered to be as the main organs of the human excretory system. So these are the main organs that will carry out the excretion system. All right. So we will now see that where are these kidneys exactly located. All right. So let me just bring the model a little bit in the center and just zoom it out. Now see, so as you can see, these are the kidneys. All right. So these are present in pair. One is in the left side and the other is in the right side of the body. So that's why they are in pair. So if we see the location of the kidney, then the kidneys are located. So it is actually located between the last level of the thoracic cavity and the third lumbar vertebra. Now what does this mean? This means that more or less they are closer to the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. So this is the location of the kidney. Now I'll just show you that how they are dorsally located. So if I show you the side part of the human male system, then you can see that it is more or less towards in the abdominal area. All right, so these kidneys, they are more or less situated towards the abdominal area. All right, and that is they are dorsally situated, dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. All right, that's why the kidney arrangement is considered to be, so this is the technical term given for the situation, or you can say the location of the kidney, which is closer to the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. So it is retroperitoneal. All right. We will now talk about the different components of the human urinary system, what are the dimensions of the kidney, and other features as well. So let's move on to the main model that represents the main human urinary system. So we will be first labeling out the components. All right, and then we will talk individually about each of the components. So we know that this is kidney. All right, which is present in pair. Then this one, that means this red one, is being represented by dorsal aorta. This is dorsal aorta. All right. This blue blood vessel is the inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava. So inferior vena cava is the blood vessel that will, enter into heart. So this is going from the kidney and is going to enter into heart, carrying the deoxygenated blood. While the dorsal aorta is the blood vessel that will leave the heart and will enter into the kidney, carrying the oxygenated blood. All right. So that is the dorsal aorta and inferior vena cava. This one is the renal vein, and this red one is the renal artery. This is ureter. Then this is urinary bladder. All right. And this one is the urethra. All right. We have already discussed that human urinary system consists of a pair of kidneys. All right. Then it consists of a pair of ureter. It consists of a urinary bladder and a urethra, along with the other important blood vessels that will enter into the kidney or that will leave the kidney. All right. So these are the entire labelings. Now we will see individually. So if I just isolate this kidney only. All right. And kidney are usually reddish brown in color. So if you can see its color, it's reddish brown. All right. And the shape of the kidney is bean shaped. If you look into the dimensions of the kidney, all right, if we talk about the dimensions of kidney, that means its length, its width, and weight. So dimensions of kidney. Each kidney of an adult human, it usually measures to be around 10 to 12 centimeter in length. So if we talk about an adult kidney. So in case of adult kidney, it is 10 to 12 centimeter in length. All right. Then 5 to 7 centimeter in width. And 2 to 3 centimeter in thickness. All right. And what about its weight? So average weight, if you're going to consider, so the average weight is 120 to 170 grams. All right. So this is the length of the kidney, which is here to here, which is 10 to 12 centimeter. This is the width of the kidney if you talk about. So this can be 5 to 7 centimeter. All right. So the thickness 2 to 3 centimeter is actually related to the wall of the kidney. And the weight is around 120 to 170 grams. Now, kidneys are considered to be as the main excretory structures in vertebrates. So, kidneys are. Now we will see the other components as well. So we'll now talk about the ureter. So you can see that it looks like this. So it's a kind of a tube-like structure that actually arises from the hilum of the kidney. Hilum is a kind of a notch. All right. So you can see this one is the ureter. All right. And this ureter arises from the hilum of each kidney. The important thing is that these ureters, they are actually obliquely placed. All right. The placement of these ureter is usually oblique. So placement is oblique. And the reason for this is that so that the urine cannot regurgitate into the ureters when the bladders contract. All right. So that means the process of reverse peristalsis cannot occur, basically. So that's why their placement is oblique, so that Because since they have you can see that since they are having a direct connection with these urinary bladders, they are having direct connection with this urinary bladder. That's why. All right. So this is about the ureters. Now, what about urinary bladder if we are going to see? So let me just isolate this part. So you can see that this is a urinary bladder, and urinary bladder is directly connected to urethra. This is directly connected to urethra. All right. So urinary bladder, if you can see, I'll just show you from the front side. So if you'll see from the front side, so it will look like pear shape. So this is going to give you a shape of pear. All right. So this is usually pear-shaped muscular organ that is situated in the pelvic cavity. That means the lower abdominal cavity. So urinary bladder is pear-shaped. All right. And situated in pelvic cavity. Now the lower part or the neck of the bladder, which you can see, that means this one. This is considered to be as the neck of bladder. So the neck of the bladder opens into urethra. So the lower part or neck of urinary bladder opens into urethra. And this opening is guarded by a valve which is called sphincter. So this neck of the bladder has the presence of sphincter, which is the regulatory opening from the urinary bladder towards the urethra. And so the passage of urine is regulated through these sphincters only. All right, which are valve-like structures present at the lower part or the neck of the urinary bladder. Now, if we talk about this urethra, so urethra is the last part. All right, so the urinary bladder will lead into urethra. So urinary bladder ultimately is going to lead into urethra. All right. In females, this urethra is usually smaller, while in case of males, it is much longer. And this is the uniqueness. This is the only difference in case of the human urinary system, in case of males and the females. All right. As it only carries the urine. While if we consider it in males, then it is long. And since it is long, so it will carry both urine and the spermatic fluid. All right. So these are the components of the human urinary system that we have seen. Now, if we look into the passage of the urinary drainage, that how these, how the process of the urine is actually being drained. What is the pathway or the passage through which it is drained? So, path of urinary drainage. So, the urine is first going to get collected in a collecting duct. So, the first is, now collecting duct leads into the papillary duct that is present in the renal pyramids. There's a video of the kidney cross section already been made. So you guys can go through that video and can just understand the concepts of the components, the internal section of the kidney, where there is a mention of the renal pyramids, the cortical regions and the medullary regions as well in detail. So first is the collecting duct, and then there is the papillary duct that is present in the renal pyramids. Then there is minor calyx. then major calyx. These are all, this pathway, I'm just writing it down in order to make you people understand that how the passage is going to take place. And this passage is in sequential filtration process. All right. So minor calyx, major calyx, these are all the components which you can see, as we have already discussed about kidney cross section. So in that video, you can go through all these minute processes. So there is major calyx, then there is renal pelvis, then ureter finally, and urinary bladder. And urinary bladder is ultimately going to open into urethra. So that's how the pathway of the urinary drainage comprises of. Alright, so we have seen in this video about the components of the human urinary system, that what are the components that are involved in the human urinary system, where they are located, and what is the main structure that is actually responsible for excretion, and that is the kidneys. Thank you.